Hello, this is how to use Claude Code as a static analyzer. We have git cloned a KDE Git repository Falcon, which is a web browser. We have opened the directory where we git cloned in Visual Studio Code, and then from the terminal inside the Visual Studio Code, I have started a command line Claude, and it starts asking questions. The first one being if I want to trust this folder. This is my wiki page, nmariusp.github.io, the final link in there, community.kde.org/user:nmariusp. And in here, how to do a KDE merge request in less than 2 hours. And then go to the chapter for large language models. In here, I have the example for Claude Code. So I have git cloned a KDE Git repository, not kcalc, but Falcon. I have changed into the directory where I git cloned. I have opened Visual Studio Code, and then I have pressed the keyboard key combination Control and then backtick to get to the terminal. I wrote Claude to start the Claude Code CLI command line interface. And then I can use some prompts for this use case where we're using Claude Code as a static analysis tool. We probably should not work on certain directories in here. So the directories /po and maybe also /poqm, if it's not git ignored, are handled by a special team inside the KDE community, the team of translators. That's why in my prompts I say ignoring some directories and then do check out all of the other directories and files. Let's see what POQM is. It doesn't seem to be git ignored. So we would probably want to ignore both of these two directories, /po and /poqm. So let's start with the first prompt. Let's edit it a bit. So I would say ignoring the PO and POQM directories. Suggest some spell checking error fixes. Claude Code has finished looking through the source code Git repository. It took 2 minutes to find issues. So we wanted some spell check error fixes. And we want to totally not touch the directories for translations. And then it also figured that it should not look inside third-party source files, and it should also not look into generated files. Well, this is a KDE Git repository. We're using CMake to build, so generated files will not be part of the working directory where we git clone the Git repository. We do out of 3 builds. There's a separate build directory where code is being generated and then CMake is being configured, compilation takes place, etc. So it's really hard to find generated source code inside this directory where we have git cloned and where we have opened Visual Studio Code. About third-party source code, there might be such a thing, but I'm not exactly sure how easy it is to identify third-party source code. Okay, so it says that there's KeyEUST. Let's search for this thing. location completer.h seems to be part of Falcon, not some third-party source code. And it's a simple thing to change, probably will not create complicated side effects. So we should just change the name of the parameter. Let's see in the CPP file what is the name for this parameter for load request. How do we search for it? Location completer.cpp. Okay, so it's the correct string in the CPP file and the wrong string in the .h file. Very simple thing to fix. We should actually copy paste the entire error message, the entire warning, the entire string that was prepared by the static analyzer tool, and have that string present in the git commit message. So this thing. Yeah, sometimes the explanation is more thorough than just do replace. Okay, so we would probably do a first git commit and merge request for replacing this thing, a wrong spelling for request. It says something about this thing, so misspelling of request, but with a and character before. Let's see if such a thing exists. It's in the same place, okay? Let's see if we can identify some other interesting, easy to fix without side effects, source code changes that would actually improve the source code. I have also noted where the changes are, so you can copy the full path of the file by right-clicking on the tab of the editor and then copy relative path. And then I have also noted the line number, which is 73. So we're working for the KD community, which means that we should make very small git commits and very small merge requests. So I'm not sure if we will be able to do a very small git commit that contains both the change on line 73, but also the change from address with just a single D to address with two Ds, because that would make the git commit way larger and not focused enough, and maybe nobody has, none of the code reviewers have any thing against this change, but might have something to suggest that we improve in the next change. So the most certain way of doing this thing would be to just do one git commit per suggestion from the static code analyzer. But then we want to make all of these individual git commits and GitLab merge requests be completely independent. So I would do a git commit, git branch, and merge request with just this change, then I would go back in git history to the master branch of the remote origin. Then I would do the same thing for the next change, for this one with just a single D in the word address. So a git commit, git branch, and a GitLab merge request, and then go back again to remote's origin master branch and do the same things for the misspelling for the request. Not for the request, for the in here, request search results misspelling. So all of the fixes, all of the issues that were identified would require a going back to the git origin remote master branch and doing just the change that's needed, the minimum changes to fix one of these issues, and then do a git commit, git new git branch with the name work, and then slash my username, and then something descriptive, and do one merge request. Because we don't really know the order in which these merge requests are going to be accepted, if they're going to be accepted, how many changes will we need to do for each individual merge request. That's why it's important that they all start from the same git commit. We cannot do a merge request for the misspelling of request, and then from that git commit start the second merge request. Let's look at one other issue, this one with the misspelling of requests, search results. And it cannot find it for some reason. Yeah, it had a S, so plural. And copy pasting from cmd.exe didn't work that great. Okay, so request, that's why we couldn't do a search for whole world. And it's just a comment, a docstring. And I don't see any side effects, so we should totally do this. Okay, so this is the change. How do we copy paste? Okay, and where? Okay, so again, because we want to make all of the git commits, git merge requests starting from the exact same branch, which is how the source code looks right now, we can't actually just bulk apply all of the changes that Claude Code wants and do a git commit and a merge request, because there's 4 different issues, and if we do such a large merge request, we will certainly be requested to by the code reviewer to just split the git commit into smaller git commits. Okay, so that was the change too. So it requires a ton of manual bookkeeping, writing things down to actually push the changes one by one in the way that's easiest to review and merge, accept into the upstream Falcon KD Git repository. Okay, let's go for the first change. So address with just one D. Okay, so we should tell the search to exclude directories PO and POQM. We're on Windows, so we need to use backtick. No. Okay. So address set progress settings. What is this? So it's actually a UI Qt widgets identifier, which requires that you edit a .ui Qt framework XML forms editor file. But hopefully by just replacing everywhere, things should just work. So just replace this string everywhere with the correct version. Just add an extra D. Ctrl Shift H to replace. Okay, just apply the changes in the .cpp file and in the .ui file. And then for bonus points, because it's a .ui file, make sure that Qt Designer, the forms editor application from Qt Framework, can still load this file and display it correctly. Okay. And the final of the in a single word. So a comment, Claude Code has ignored this file, easylist.txt, because it says that it might be generated. So we should probably ignore it also. So it's just one place. Copy relative path. Line 675. Yeah, maybe if there are multiple issues with just doc strings, nothing else, then yes, those could be put in a single git commit and a single merge request titled proofreading comments and doc strings, for instance. So yeah, that would make sense because you're just bulk reading all of the comments in many C++ source code files. You found some issues, and then you're doing just a git commit, git merge request for whatever you found there. At this point, if you have 3 or 4 GitLab merge requests open for the Falcon project, you should probably stop and improving Falcon and switch to another KDE Git repository, because maybe the maintainers will complain that you're creating too many merge requests per week and they have too many things to review, or start asking questions like, why did you create so many very small merge requests? So it's just better if you create maximum 3 very small Git merge requests for related to static analysis per KDE Git repository per week. So 3 merge requests per week would be something that would not trigger anything. Okay, but we're going to continue with Falcon in this example, in this video. Next up, we would want to fix some deprecation issues. So very similarly, I'm going to ignore the 2 directories that I should not touch, and then ask the question. For instance, check for Qt 6 deprecation warnings across the source. You can formulate this question differently. Claude Code will still probably know what you meant. So let's just ask. And how do we paste? Like this. So right click, we're using the Visual Studio Code terminal, but I have switched from PowerShell.exe to cmd.exe because cmd.exe allows me to exit with Ctrl-D, for instance, which I couldn't do in PowerShell, out of Claude Code REPL, read, evaluate, print loop. And yes, the fonts probably don't look as well in cmd.exe compared to PowerShell. You can see this placeholder, this and this one. Yes, developing on Windows is not that great because PowerShell is not that great, because cmd.exe is not that great, because backslash is in full file paths are not that great, because backslash r backslash n is not that great, because the Microsoft Visual C++ compiler is not that great compared to G++ and CLang++, etc. So most of the online development is going towards Unix, Linux, Docker containers, AWS, Azure, cloud providers, etc. And all of these things are convergent towards other operating systems for developers than Windows. The ones that use Saner Newline terminator characters and Saner directory separators, etc., etc. Okay, so let's start. It actually says that it did this task before, so it knows how to search for some deprecated deprecated Qt 6 symbols. Okay, so let's see what Claude Code found. So says issue number 1 is that maybe you want to replace the Qt type Q vector with Q list. This is present in at least 64 files. I would totally not do this. I would not do a git commit and a merge request that touches 64 files. And I also don't really know the implications of going from Q vector to Q list. So I would just ignore the first found issue. Let's see something else. 17 changed files. Using the Q Web Engine page feature permission API. I'm also going to just ignore just based on the number of files that are being changed. Maybe you can do a subset of both these. Maybe you find a very limited place where you can apply the change to just a limited number of source code lines. Both change one from QVector to QList, and also this other one. Maybe you just apply to just one of the permissions or to one of the features, etc. So do a very limited part of this change or a very limited part of this change, if it makes sense. But this will require that you actually invest, probably in a time-boxed manner, at least half an hour, or maximum half an hour, to discover if there's advantages from going to QVector, from QVector to QList, if this warning deprecation feature permission API is something that will need to be done in the medium future anyway. So yes, you could help with porting and keeping the source code as up to date as possible. And then you're also going to look at the minimum Qt version that's being used by the Falcon project and see if the change that you're applying to use a newer Qt feature is available in the minimum Qt version that's still supported by Falcon. Or if not, ask for the maintenance of Falcon to bump the minimum supported Qt version a bit. Okay, what's this thing? Main world warning 3 files. So that would be issue 3. The named world constants are deprecated. You should use integer values instead. Yes, this would also require investigating, changing from something that looks like an enum to something that looks like a naked integer. A magic string doesn't make sense. So see, maybe there's an alternative to these 0, 1, and 2. Yeah, so again, not something that you can just apply and check. Also requires research. Q Web Engine certificate error is passed by value and is already mutable. No need to const cast. Okay. Something like this. Yeah. So just one line needs to be changed. Seems extremely easy, but the 30 minutes time-boxed research is still required even here. And in my case, to actually apply this change, I would need a Linux machine. I would need to build using KDE Builder Falcon and all of its dependencies. I would need to use Qt Creator, the integrated development environment, to actually navigate to all of these symbols, look at the definition of the symbols in the Qt frameworks, look at the warnings, etc. So research and development time would be probably an hour. And then extra would be the times required for building and setting up KDE Builder. And maybe a Linux virtual machine. Yeah, these probably look actionable. So it's changing from one enum type to another thing that looks like an enum type. Requires research, but this research is probably going to be way shorter than 30 minutes. And you're also going to need to look at deprecation. So when did this new type appear? Since which version of Qt is this type deprecated? Is which version of Qt this type appeared? Are they both enums? Is one a, I don't know, class enum or something? How do you cast from one to the other? Okay, and let's do the, so for this, there's no easy answer. And let's see for the third suggested prompt, what does Claude Code find? So ignoring the two directories, we're going to use less tokens, which probably means switching from the various Claude Code models, probably using Haiku. And we just let it do any type of improvement in general. So suggest some improvements to the source code. And Claude Code finished in 60 seconds. So half the time, both suggest on spell checks and check for Qt 6 deprecation used each 2 minutes. And the last one, suggest some improvements to the source code, took 60 seconds, but still I saw it search specifically for Qt framework deprecations or Qt framework performance improvements. So maybe it should have found these exact same issues when searching for Qt 6 deprecation warnings. And some of these look really easy to apply. Let's see, for instance, this one, empty versus is empty. So issue 4. So there are Qt containers with member.empty versus member is empty. So .empty comes from STL and is empty comes from Qt, and the containers are actually Qt containers. So do make sure that you're copy pasting this text in the body of the Git message. Mixing STL empty with Qt containers is inconsistent. Of course, once you apply any of these changes, in this case, you probably can also let Claude Code apply them. So it's just 5 places. You should not just do a git commit, git merge request, etc. GitLab merge request without actually building the source code and running. So you will need to put Falcon in such a environment where you can easily build Falcon from source with your changes and also run the web browser Falcon. You're going to run just to see if something evident is broken. Maybe your source code changes are just in some side panel that you don't really know how to display, or maybe in the download manager or in some other peripheral place that you don't even think to test when you're running the web browser. But then just a smoke test, start the web browser, navigate to pages, open a new tab, close, look at the, I know, help about dialog, make sure that the settings dialog is being shown, is always welcome before proposing a code change to the upstream. So this was it. This was how to use Claude Code for static analysis. So static analysis in the sense that Claude Code doesn't even know how to build the KD Git repository Falcon, doesn't know which are its dependencies. We're on the wrong operating system on Windows. We're not even on Linux. The KD frameworks are missing from here. The Qt web engine is missing from here. There's no installation of Qt available. So Claude Code just looked at some source code files, so partial, not enough to build everything, and it didn't run any process of this KD Git repository. It didn't build the graphical user interface application Falcon, which is a web browser. It didn't start it. It didn't profile it. It didn't look at what warnings it generates, the process generates while it runs, so the debug logs. This is it. Yes, Claude Code and other LLMs are useful as a static code analysis tool. Thank you.